Welcome to the Big East on Fox Sports 1.
This is Big East basketball.
The Providence Friars.
St. Johnny Red
The Marquette Golden Eagles, Pirates of Seton Hall.
Nicely done off the glass it is.
Can't wait for basketball season to start. I'm now joined by Big East head coaches Villanova's Jay Wright, Providence College's Ed Cooley, Xavier's Chris Max, and Seton Hall's Kevin Willard. And guys, over 155 Big East games are going to be on the Fox family of networks. And last season, 6 teams made it to the NCAA tournament. Now you add another high-profile coach like Chris Mullin to the conference. Ed Cooley, we'll start with you. How do you become the most dominant conference in college basketball? What else do you have to do other than those things?
Well, you got to continue to recruit great student athletes.
Yes.
That epitomize our brand in the Big East. We feel we're the best conference in the country, not just because of the players, but because of the support systems that's in place at our institutions.
You mentioned the recruiting process. It is never ending. That's what you guys have probably been doing all summer. Coach Mack, you tweeted yesterday, 3:45 a.m. wake-up call, time to recruit. How has social media changed recruiting for you guys?
Coach Willard accused me I had a stomach ache at 3:45, which is why I tweeted out. But, you know, I just opted rather to drive the night before, spend another night away from your family, and stay in a hotel room, get up a few hours early, make a couple-hour trip. But recruiting is year-round. It never stops for us. It's 24/7, like you said, with social media.
Right.
It's out there. I think fans follow it more than ever now.
Where'd he go? Where did Chris go? Who are you going to see at
I can't
Some
see
inside information
Who are
happening.
you going to
As soon as
see?
he figures out who I went to see, he'll go right there and he'll sign the kids.
No poaching players.
I
Coach,
thought we were all coming out to L.A. to have a good time in L.A. He was recruiting.
he's sneaking some recruiting in. I've spoken to some other coaches today who are doing the same thing with this West Coast swing. So, you got to make it work. Coach Willard, how has it been for you? What are the challenges, especially that social media and this new world that we kind of live in, how does that pose challenges for us?
Yeah, I think it's a big challenge in the fact that you just have to be so cautious of what you put out there. Not only you as a coach or an institution, but your players, how they represent you, your institution, your program. It just changes the way everyone sees you on an instant basis. And I think in the recruiting, you recruit a young man, you really want them to understand that there's a lot of things can go wrong with just one little tweet. So I think that's really changed how you look at a kid and what they put on the internet.
This also puts players in the driver's seat for the recruiting process because they're able to release videos of themselves and make themselves more well-known. Do you see challenges with that as well?
Yeah, but you can't give somebody a scholarship based on a YouTube video.
Yeah.
We have to get out there. We have to do our own evaluation of them, and we got to make sure that they fit at our school.
Coach Wright, you're big on social media. What do you think about that?
You can find out a lot about the kids. If you read their tweets, you see what they're interested in. You see what they're doing all the time, and so you feel like you kind of get to know them a little bit better. So they can promote themselves and brand themselves, but when they're just hanging out at night and just tweeting with their boys, you can see that too. So you really feel like you get to know them better by the time you get them on campus.
Kids, be careful what you put on social media. Lesson learned. Now, the Big East hosting a very unique program called Freshman Fundamentals. Coach Wright, tell us about that and what you're doing.
Yeah, we just had it this weekend. We took a page from the NBA. The NBA, when they bring rookies in, they have a rookie orientation program. So we felt like we're a basketball conference. We're the only conference in the country that can do this. And we're going to bring all of our freshmen as soon as they come into school. We brought them to New York City. We had former Big East players, Randy Foye, who played in the NBA, and other NBA players talk to the guys. Stu Jackson, who was our associate commissioner, ran this program for the NBA. So he ran the program just like they do in the NBA. And it was a great weekend for our guys. They went to Madison Square Garden. They went out to eat. They had a lot of speakers come in. Jim O'Brien, former NBA coach, spoke to them. And then they came back to campuses really prepared for college basketball, prepared for dealing with the media, and really prepared for life. So it's something that only the Big East does, and we were really proud of it.
That's great.
Our players were excited about it. Some of our players never been to New York City.
Yeah, and to be at the mecca of basketball, too, Madison Square Garden. That is incredible. And your players will be back at Madison Square Garden for the Big East tournament, and I covered you guys with that last season. And some things really stood out to me. Really talented and special student athletes, very savvy coaches like yourselves, and the best-dressed coach in college hoops, Jay Wright.
I'm going to say Chris Mack.
Not me. I passed the buck. I passed the buck.
Could you explain to us your attire during the tournament? You had some good. You had some good looks during your tournament. I thought you had some really good looks.
We had 3 tough games. We played Butler and Georgetown. We were fortunate enough to advance and play Jay's team. And so when we went into the handshake line right before the championship game, I told one of Jay's assistants, I said, look at this guy. He's got an Armani suit. I said, you tell Jay, and you can check the tape, I wore the same suit on Thursday as I did on Friday, as I did on Saturday. The only thing I changed was my shirt. I may have kept the same tie, but I know same pinstripe suit all 3 days.
That's why you're waking up at 3:45 in the morning.
Exactly right.
That was the message he sent
White
me.
collar, blue collar.
The message he sent me right before the game. He said, make sure he checks the tape. Make sure he checks the tape.
The game tape for what he wore for that game.
Exactly.
Well, regardless of what you guys are wearing, we look forward to seeing you back on the sidelines when college hoops begins in a couple of months. Good luck with the never-ending recruiting process, and thanks for coming in. It was good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And still to come, a